All right, guys, we are live here on the Independent Investor Channel live stream. My name is Ryan. I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody who's taken time out of their evening or daytime, depending on when you're catching this. And for the folks that are overseas that'll catch this tomorrow morning, good morning to you. It's great that we're able to roll this opportunity out to you guys. And we offer this live stream really as an opportunity to come together, talk about financial markets, talk about how everybody's doing in the portfolio. There better be some happy faces out there. It is a good time to be an investor. Like I always say, it's never really as good as you think it is, and it's probably never quite as bad as you think it is. I know when I say that stuff in the depths of a pandemic that we had earlier on this year, I know there's probably a lot of people who are like, yeah, right, Ryan. And it's times like this where I say, hey, we might want to back the skids off a little bit. I'm going to talk about tonight how investing like a boss, how that looks. And I don't mean that to, be condescending. I don't mean that. It's just this show is all about personal empowerment. It is. You do not trip and fall into my live stream and expect to leave and not be able to put yourself on a course toward financial stability and put a plan in place that makes sense for you. All right. I've got a lot of shout outs tonight for sure. I was speaking with my good friend backstage right before the live stream, and I think it's worthwhile as we close out 2020, good riddance, to be honest with you, to take some stock, no pun intended, on how lucky we are to come together and speak about this topic. There's just a ton of familiar faces. I do drop the invitation into every single live stream. So if you do want to kick on and be a guest of the show, I run my gig a whole hell of a lot different than a lot of other professional YouTubers. I am not. So I dropped that invite in there for anybody if they want to kick on. I know there was somebody who reached out to me right before the live stream tonight and was like, hey, man, just came across your channel. I was hoping you can help point me in the right direction on what it is you do. The answer is always yes. But here's the thing. I really want you to understand where I'm coming from on this channel. This is just one of many, many opportunities that I roll out on the Independent Investor channel. And I do not apologize. I do everything that I possibly can do to provide this message, for the very simple reason that people need it. It's just that simple. People need to up their game. They need to look at themselves in a way that can think about themselves differently. And I think a lot of people, man, they establish barriers to personal finance, success, etc., and they throw in the towel way too early, and they don't think that they can do it. I'm here to tell you that you've been given every opportunity to do it. And you've got guys like myself who come on and provide a pretty real testimonial. I was just talking about the numbers here. We're pressing $500,000. And for you guys that just fell on your ear, yeah, I'm a blue collar guy on a single income that's pressing 500,000. I don't think we'll get there toward the end of this year. We'll see. I'm always trying and I'm always pressing. But I do share my story as a testimonial for you guys, and hopefully that can motivate you guys into maybe starting a wealth building program for yourself. And we leave no stone unturned on this channel, rolling out opportunity to really exploit the opportunity made possible through technology nowadays. That really is the key. Being able to provide communications to the masses. All right, guys, if I sit down one-on-one with people, I could spend a lifetime and never be able to exploit the reach that YouTube gives me. And that is the most valuable piece about the Independent Investor channel, is being able to use YouTube for what I've always used it for the last going on over about 3 years in the evolution of the channel. I've always just thought, you know what, if I could sit down and talk about my favorite subject, I contend that there's probably people out there that would love to listen to it and maybe even embolden their lives by taking and deploying some of the disciplines that I teach upon to embolden your financial future. And it's really just that simple. And for a topic that all too often is not talked about enough, I'm looking to change the status quo and break down those barriers to entry. So want to welcome everybody in the first 5 minutes to the Independent Investor Channel live stream. Is going to be investing like a boss. Stick around, guys. We're going to have a hell of a time. All right, guys. So I use the word family all the time. I really do. We are a group of investors in here, and we're a pretty close-knit community. If you are new to the Independent Investor Channel live stream, and I speak to some of these folks like they are my brothers and sisters in investing, it's because they are. They absolutely are. And why not? I think we're approaching this investing topic in a little different way. Me personally, the evolution on the Independent Investor Channel has evolved. It really has. It's been more of just sitting down and doing some really, really long videos when I first started, unedited, raw content, didn't know what the hell I was doing anyway, but really was operating on a spark, no doubt, just operating on a spark and using this as an opportunity to reach people and try to touch on what I deemed to be a way too big of a deficiency in people, and a deficiency insofar that people would admit to wanting to know more about personal finance, wanting to know more about budget discipline. Hey, how can I work with my spouse to build a more financially secure future? How is it that we can deal with the budget inflows and make sure that we're keeping some of that money in-house, right? Banking some of that money, right? Siphoning some of that money off of your own program and putting it to work for yourself, right? So we've always been an advocate of that message. Furthermore, I do reach into the depths of my evolution as an investor. And I do talk all the time about my affiliation with financial planning institutions throughout the course of my life. I've been with 4, and I think that's a traditional method of seeking out exposure to the stock market. And I think a lot of people seek out that opportunity so they can escape from thinking. I really do. And I think that can be one of the biggest mistakes, in that a lot of people don't understand that they have other options. Okay. I'm here to tell you that the most obvious answer is typically the one that's right in front of your face. And it is the one that puts you in the driver's seat for your money. And there's going to be a lot of people that shut that off right now. And they hear that and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did this guy just say that I could take control of my own financial future? Yes, I did. Can you direct connect yourself to the stock market? Yes, you can. Accounts allow you to do this. Guys, I would venture to guess that probably 100% of you guys out there have one of these things. My entire business runs through this. My entire access and conduit to the stock market starts right here with this beautiful product, this iPhone. So with the power of connectivity, you really start to run out of excuses as to why you can't start with some level of degree, okay? You don't have to jump in, and you definitely don't want to get in over your head. But ask yourself, are you a non-investor or are you an investor? If you're a non-investor, start to ask yourself, look, is this something that I want to learn a little bit more about? It's pretty harmless coming onto a YouTube channel like mine and many others in this group who I'm going to always highlight. It's very important that I do this because I can talk until I'm blue in the face. But if you don't get encouraged or motivated, maybe I'm too old. I'm 43 years old, right? So I do really relate with folks that are, my own age. I'm starting to break into some of those younger generation. In other words, if I was 23 years old, I would kill for this information to understand that taking control of your money is a possibility. And coupled with the power of tax protection that's provided, at least here in the States, I'm not quite up to speed on what those availabilities are in other countries. But, adopting some of those disciplines that I've used over the years to really build a significant amount of wealth, an amount of wealth that I think if you put a sample pool out there of 1,000 different people and you put the same circumstance that I was faced with in my life, in that I was very loved, but I wasn't provided any type of advantage. I was given no springboard. I was not born with a silver spoon. I wasn't. I worked for everything that I have. The question is, out of that sample pool, would they have been able to render or be able to look at the results that I have right now at 43? Now, when you set out on a wealth building program for yourself, I think a lot of people fall victim to looking at other programs and saying, I want that, instead of looking at their own program and saying, what can I realistically look to pursue? I think that's the deeper question. There's a lot of folks in this group here that may be like, Ryan, I don't make a whole lot of money. Totally fine. Ryan, I can't make what you make. I disagree with that. Don't ever say that you can't do something until you understand what the power of some of these things that we talk about in investing can render, right? Compounding interest is very real. Dividend income is very real. Diversified passive investing really can render some very, very good success for you. And I think all too often people want to avoid how powerful an 8 to 10% rate of return on the stock market is. But every single one of us out there, you don't have to admit it to me, but I'm just going to tell you, we all have credit cards and we probably all swipe them way too much. So unfortunately, a lot of us live on the negative side of zero, and we don't look to try to pursue that little 8 to 10%. It doesn't take a whole lot to really build some serious wealth in this life. And 8 to 10% compounded over the first 10 years, you're not going to see a huge difference. But when you start to add a lifetime of compounding and contributing to a program that works for you, that's defensive in nature, that's passive in nature, that's tax protected in nature, can really grow a sizable amount of wealth as you approach retirement. One thing about my channel that a lot of people, I think, don't really maybe like that much is I'm not quite as flashy and I'm not quite as entertaining as some of the other channels out there. But at the same time, I really do try to stay as centered as I can and remain real. What I mean by that is there's a lot of information online that's talking about, the ups and the downs in a day-to-day type of explanation over YouTube. In other words, what's the rocket stock of the day that we're going to put out? And that's really what people aspire to. And I think that style of investing, I'm going to go ahead and declare to you so you have some perspective surrounding how I approach speculative investing. And in my case, it's more of the SPAC investing, which I really am more interested in than a pure play type of ultra speculative play, like a penny stock, for example. Over the OTC markets, I have some SPAC exposure, which I would consider exposure and speculative, and I also have some growth stocks as well in a portfolio. Names like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Alibaba, PayPal, Uber, names like that, Nvidia. Okay, that I would just consider pure play growth. Okay, so I think I do deploy quite a hybrid strategy. I do seek out my exposure to the stock market in a lot of different ways. And a lot of that I do because I'm personally interested in it. But to be honest with you, the M1 Finance accounts that I hold really do look to exploit a very, very unique and strategic benefit for me. I roll those out on my portfolio reviews. But for you guys that tune into the live stream, I always provide you guys an update as far as today's closing account balances. And I'm going to explain some of these as they go by. So we did surpass, and we were able to hold the $100,000 mark on all three of the large accounts. Those three accounts, okay, I have 7 total accounts. Those are at about 331,000. Okay. Out of those three accounts, we're looking at about a 75% exposure rate to the stock market, which leaves about 20% in cash. Okay. Actually, it's about an 80-20 mix when you're looking at the three large accounts. But when you add in some of the cash reserves that I have in some of the other accounts, we're looking at about a 75-25. And that's about as defensive as I like to get. In other words, I like to remain exposed to the stock market in all forms and fashions. What that means is that total number that you heard has some ETF exposure. Okay. I choose personally, for you guys that are new to the channel, I really enjoy Vanguard ETFs. I am a value investor as well, in that I do seek out some dividend growth opportunity. So when I do roll out those specifics, which I'm declaring to you now, you can get the share values as well as the dollar amounts that I have allocated. But this is the taxable brokerage 101,771. This has a significant amount of cash in it compared to the equity holdings, which I believe are only 11 total in the brokerage account right now. You can see there 39, almost 40% in cash. And then I do hold a fairly significant amount of taxable speculation there. So I've got to be a little careful there with the speculation. I do expect that it will run up. If you guys will notice, the S&PR that's going by the bottom of the screen now, and the S&P RWS, that was as a result of a corporate action that I mentioned to you guys last Friday on the live stream that has actually taken effect. And I've actually emboldened that warrant position on Tortoise 2. So I've emboldened that warrant position up to 1,000. We'll see that. It was up nicely today. It was up 12% today. So it was good. We are in the black on that. We are holding kind of true on the S&PR because we haven't heard any type of announcements on where that board and Vince Cubbage's team is going to go with the Tortoise 2 acquisition. But if Hyliion is any indication of how much vetting they put into that process, I'm excited to see what they come up with. And it really is just a play on their expertise in the EV space, but I think they'll probably broaden it out to be something along the lines of a green initiative for sure, which is probably in line with the new administration. And I think there's probably going to be some funding in the pipeline. In other words, I think EV and anything green and environmental is probably going to be a place that we could all look at. All right. This is the second account here. I'll roll this through 106,870 on this one. This is an 80-20 mix here with VOO kind of being the flagship passive asset in here. You can see there just over 21% in cash. So that really is reflective of where I think the market is. And I speak differently than any other YouTuber, okay? You'll see that I will speak tongue in cheek and say, here's my stance, and here's why I do it. And here's why. The market right now is bumping up against all-time high. Could it continue to run up 20%? Yes. Yes, it could. And good on me for admitting that if you think you can forecast one way or another what direction the stock market is going to go, you are mistaken. And you need to get over yourself, because that is not possible. I have found that it to be a futile effort. What I have found success in is to prepare for either outcome. And I find this interesting all the time. Shout out to my good boy, Matt Money. I don't know if he's on the stream tonight or if he's indisposed. I haven't kicked over to the comments just yet. But Matt gave a fantastic 12-minute audio drop in my WhatsApp group. Absolutely fantastic, where people are asking to trade out of one position, in most cases a losing position, to trade into another position. Man, guys, if that honestly is your wishy-washy approach to the stock market, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. We just need to maybe reevaluate. I've been in a wishy-washy position with ExxonMobil for the last few years. Am I selling the stock? No. I'm just as bullish now at 37 as I won when I bought the stock up over 50. All right. It's a top 3 major. Okay. I would put Valero and ConocoPhillips in that top 5 of energy, along with Royal Dutch Shell. And my favorite which is Chevron. Okay. I do own the Vanguard's energy ETF, which it's nice to report to you guys, but that ETF, believe it or freaking not, is in the freaking green. It is in the freaking green. It just clicked over. Every single one of my sector ETFs from Vanguard are in the green, 11 for 11. If I was going to go to the pros in major leagues, I would only need to be a 300 hitter. That is a batting average of 1,000%, if I'm doing my math correctly. So can't complain. All winners in that portfolio, can't complain at all. But, my point is, we have so many people that are coming onto YouTube and they want to know what stock to buy. And I think the right response, and I think a lot of us are kind of getting on board with this response to not be an asshole about it, but just to be like, look, you got to give me more. Okay. My job is not to sit across from you, nor is it any type of fair expectation of a YouTube channel to come on and provide stock after stock after stock after stock that's going to win for you. It just doesn't work that way. And if you sit back and you've got half a level of intelligence about what investing entails, you can really resonate with that idea to be like, what, Ryan's right, man. It's awesome to get excited about investing. It's awesome to come by and say hello on a live stream and kick it with like-minded people. But at the end of the day, my freaking decisions have to be mine. And it doesn't mean that you can't ask questions. It's just that you've got to frame the question that gives the receiver of that question some sort of context surrounding why you're asking the question. And I presume that a lot of people don't know why they're asking the question. In other words, they have no idea what their tolerance is to a specific equity. They have no idea. They have no idea why they're looking to purchase a specific equity, right? What their long-term goals are in this gig. Why the hell are you investing in the first place? Do you have the money? Do you have the money and the tolerance and the scale to be speculating in the way that you are proposing to be speculating, right? A lot of people don't even need to be dabbling in this arena, the speculation arena. Matt mentioned on his audio cast that he dropped in there that and it was a WAG percentage, but I agreed with the assessment that 8 out of 10 investors just need to get involved with the stock market from a passive perspective, because our success rate is going to go up so much more if people are just giving themselves a freaking fighting chance instead of assessing the stock market from a very, very shallow perspective and thinking all the time that you need to always find that next best thing. And that is just not the way you initially want to start. It does have its place in this gig. It really does. And it can be very, very lucrative. Okay. If you're making your way to the live stream and I'm talking about things that are getting you excited, it should. That dollar amount that I disclosed at the top of the stream, that is very, very real. And there's people in this group who have a significant amount more than that. But for me, that's my number, 434 to 43, whatever. I tend to pay more attention to the plan. And the number that you're able to generate from a well-laid plan is usually the byproduct of a well-oiled machine, a well-crafted plan that makes sense and in line with your own risk tolerance. Okay, guys. So really appreciate that. I'll roll out the third offering out of the 3 large accounts. So this is where the 334 comes from. And it's nice to see that these accounts are back up over the 6-figure mark. We dipped there for a while. I was down about from this mark here, $45,000 just last month. So the power of the stock market, for you guys that don't know, I'm in a little bit different of a chair. I've been doing this a long time. Fluctuation in the stock market means absolutely diddly squat. I only usually mention it on my live stream because I know there's a lot of beginning investors that seemingly always want to get caught up in the market's doing this today, this and that. Oh my God, what are we doing for the next crash and blah, blah, blah. If you comb over the YouTube landscape, you'll see that it's riddled with that type of activity. And I understand those are topics that get a lot of views. Okay. They get a lot of views. And just please separate a content creator's initiative to grow their channel with the reality of they don't know. They don't know. And the latter is the truth. If you guys are looking for some truth in the matter, great. I know there's a lot of subscribers to the message who don't like that type of lingo from me. They would just rather have me come on and be super confident in everything that I say. You cannot be confident with the direction of the stock market. That's the God's honest truth. And that's, if nothing else, that I've learned over 25 years plus of experience in the stock market. I'm right. I'm right. I know there's a lot of people out there that would contend that they can corner the market and they can know exactly what it's going to do at any given time. BS. It's just not possible. So you sit back and you say, well, what are we to do, Ryan? You know, there's a lot of people that are succeeding in the stock market. Don't they succeed in the stock market by understanding which direction the stock market's going? No. Don't they succeed in the stock market by knowing exactly what stock to pick and the time to pick that said stock? No. Okay. So if you thought that those were two criteria for success in the stock market, look at it a little bit more holistically. Okay. You don't need to be in a rush in this game, because approaching the stock market correctly is probably not something that you can read in a book and just deploy the next day and be an expert at. This gig takes a lifetime to evolve at. And what I would love to see from my empowered investors are those investors out there that really do internalize this message and allow it to affect other aspects of your life. Because as investing becomes more of a priority in your life, you'll understand how important it is to use the power of investing to really acknowledge other aspects of your spending habits. You know, if you get certain injects in your life, specifically, we've got tax returns coming right around the corner here early next year. We've got the ability to fund Roth IRAs come January 1st of next year, right? So when those opportunities come, you'll look at them a little bit differently if you're looking at them through the prism of a disciplined investor. Okay, guys? So with that, I'm going to spend the rest of the stream getting some of these comments, guys. Really, there's Matt in the group. And I meant to give a shout out to my boy, Kyle. Kyle was in talking to me behind the stream right up until about a minute that I came live. But I did want to give a shout out as well. Kyle's killing it with a pretty good speculative play in MindMed as well. So he's doing really, really well. You want to check out his channel. He does a good job, man, of really getting people excited about investing. Hell, he gets me excited about life and everything in general when I just talk to the guy. So if he can work that magic, and he's a friend of mine too, man, and I'm just really proud as hell of him. But he caught a good one. He caught a good one. And I know Matt's got a position as well, but I think the inception credit needs to be paid where it is due for sure. Now, it doesn't mean that people need to come into the message and say, wow, let's just cherry pick this and go jump into it head first. The stock's run up probably 125, 150% from its base not too long ago. So in short, no, I'm going to tell you that's not what you need to be doing. You're missing the point. Okay. If you're one of those 8 out of the 10 that sit back and go, man, Ryan just deemed me one of the 80%. I'm not trying to be condescending. This is how I started in the market. I started with mutual funds. And if I had access to the crazy good ETFs that are out right now, that I would be loving it right there if I could jam a retirement account full of some good Vanguard or Fidelity ETFs, you know, maybe a NASDAQ specific ETF. I know Matt really likes the triple Qs. I like the triple Qs myself, right? But to craft a portfolio that's good for you, if you are 8 out of those 10 that really should be starting in a passive program, you don't need to hear those acknowledgments and be jumping over yourself to find those opportunities, man. Because, man, I really want to try to be the voice of reason on YouTube. I'm a little older, and I honestly could give kind of two shits about like making 100,000 subscribers tomorrow. I don't care. I've said this many, many times on the Independent Investor channel. I want to maintain creative control the same way Pearl Jam wants to remain in control of their content as well. In other words, they do what they want to do, how they want to do, and when they want to do it. I want to do exactly the same. So if I want to do a promo video for a mining company, by God, I'm going to do it, right? And if you don't appreciate that about me, you can leave. You can leave. Because here's the thing. I give a lot of my own personal time on YouTube to come on and share my story. And if you do, in fact, listen, you'll be better for it. That's the God's honest, bottom of my heart assessment. But you have to be willing to listen. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat this thing for you. I will not provide you hot stock picks that are going to go up 20% next week. I will not do that. Why? Because it's impossible to do. You may get lucky, and I'll congratulate you for doing such. If you want to engage in speculation and you have no further base in your program, I wish you all the luck, because that is what's it's going to take. Okay. If you're going to engage in a speculative program and forego what has worked for investors over the course of time, seeking out that 8 to 10% rate of return in the market, go ahead. I just wish there was more people echoing a common voice. And that's why the shout outs go to Matt and Kyle. And there's a ton of folks else in here that I'm probably going to try to point out. But those are two that really come. They help me in my Viper group with the WhatsApp group. And we're absolutely empowering those folks to understand a little bit more about the fundamental approach to the stock market, like why a particular position makes sense. Does it make sense for everybody? The answer is no, it doesn't. Okay. And if we can deploy these fundamentals and really start to scale them to the masses, then we'll render a very simple result of having more people succeed in the stock market. If we have everybody and their mother trying to pursue speculative plays, then the failure rate's going to go up. It's just that simple. Okay. And I've got a little bit of speculation in the portfolio too, and that's totally fine. 7 total speculative in my portfolio. I know people are interested in that. I talked about the corporate action in the account to split the S&P RU. That's the Tortoise 2 offering. SBE warrants. I've been absolutely killing it this week. Killing it with some swing trading activity in the tax advantaged accounts. Absolutely killing it. Now, I did take an interesting position in CIIC. You guys know that those shares got halted. I owned 1,000 shares before it went into the halt. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is usually a good sign. And it was. It came out of the halt. Boom. There was $1,000 bill in an hour. So so I do engage in a lot of great activity. And if I had less of an ethical background, I could probably come onto YouTube and be like, look at me. I'm the greatest investor ever. But I would like to acknowledge success in the market as a little bit more commonplace. And that way people can resonate with that and say, wow, maybe I can do that too down the line. Okay. If I start with the progression of getting myself used to having capital exposed to the market, right, then it might not be so scary to engage in a little bit more of those speculative plays, because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you that it can be very, very lucrative. The razor's edge with that and the catch-22 is when I say something like that, I say it tongue in cheek, because I know thousands of people are going to hear the message and they're not going to heed my warning. They're just going to run out and they're going to be like, what is he talking about? Oh God, they just did a huge deal with UPS. Oh my God, it's the next freaking Johnson & Johnson. I'm in. I'm going to sell the farm and I'm investing in it. No, that's not how it works. Okay. But I do share those because I'm a fairly seasoned investor and my value plays are working. Right now in the brokerage account, 11 total holdings, 1 ETF in there. The Roth has about 19 holdings. 14 of those are value stocks. 2 are speculative plays. Roth 2 has 18 total holdings in the portfolio with 13 value plays. So 27 total value stocks. Those are those good aristocrats and kings, dividend payers, etc. I've already flashed those to you guys, and then 3 ETFs and 2 specs. So 48 total holdings across the 3 larger portfolios that we're working with there. And I've already given you kind of the breakdown and philosophy of how I define my float. My float is between 75% equity exposure and all the way up to about 100% of a float of equity exposure, right? So as the market indicates to me that we've run up significantly since the March lows, right, then that gives me that opportunity to throttle back. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's never going to be perfect, but I'm just giving you somewhat of a idea of my insight on how I look at the stock market, and I use what it's giving me at the time that I'm evaluating where we are, where we've come, where we could potentially go, what the triggers are, what the risks are. And right now, the risks are real. Okay. The obvious is right in front of my face. I'm not going to say it on the live stream because we all know what it is. But going into next year, I think real estate is the biggest risk. I really do. And I just fail to acknowledge that we're just going to come out of this and everybody's going to come out of this unscathed and able to pay their mortgage. I just don't see that happening. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. And if real estate takes a hiccup, there's already an inventory shortage. But if we have people that are having trouble pay their mortgage, then that will in fact bleed over to the stock market. And I think that underlying ripple has actually started and has been brewing for the last couple months. I really do. Okay. So just my thoughts on it, and I prepare accordingly. Could I be completely wrong? Absolutely. Hell, I hope I am. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the market booms. I hope we're up 20%. Goldman Sachs came out with a report this week. It's calling for a tick lower on GDP first quarter next year, and then a boom second half of the year. I don't know how they predict those numbers. Good on them. They're the experts. They work this stuff every single year. But my big thing is I can come up with my own thesis on my risk and put those risks aside. Here's the fundamental question that I ask: is right now the time when you want to be full throttle on this market? I think if you sit back and ask yourself that question rhetorically, I think you can really give yourself somewhat of an honest answer. I really do. All right, guys. Very cool. I'm going to cruise up here and acknowledge some folks in the house. Got AK in the house. I've already talked. Matt Money's in the house. These guys are going to be running the live stream. They'll carry on the party at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So you guys are all cordially invited. Please accept this as a personal invite. Hell, I'll be there. I will have a cocktail in hand, which I've learned over the years not to do these and drink, because I start to do the live stream the way I play the back nine on a golf course. If I start having a few beers, not going to happen. You'll get my sharpest product. And I do contend that when the dust settles on this topic, guys, it is a very, very serious topic. When you're talking about people's money, it's very, very serious. But don't get me wrong. The whole message and the intent of me putting out a YouTube channel isn't for you to sit down and listen and for me to teach. That's not really the point. The point is for you to receive a message that allows you to be empowered to kind of seek out the right answers on your own, make mistakes and have successes, but to seek out that level of empowerment on your own. Okay. That's the key to this whole thing, guys. It's very, very important. To get pelt work, cannot confirm or deny. I've said that a few times for sure. At all good. My spiritual leader, she had her walk this evening. Always reminds me of the holistic approach to life. And I said it at the top of the live stream. I think this year in reflection, as we approach the holiday season, I would wish each and every one of you guys the opportunity to reflect back on this year, be thankful, reflect if you were in fact involved and you have lost loved ones. We really need to keep this thing in context, because I get very aggressive with investing and I drive. I really do. I drive hard because I think living life hard is the only way to be. I don't live in fear. I drive hard. And if you guys don't drive hard, or you're a little bit passive in your approach and you get a little bit of motivation from me to maybe invest like a boss. I wanted to cuss. Invest like a boss. All right. You're going to be your best advocate in this life, man. And if you take what I say with a grain of salt, but you just heard what I said, that's the most important part about the Independent Investor Channel message. It's about understanding that you're always going to have your best interest in mind. And if you can find those little pieces of success in your life, man. Matt Money is in the group. He does certain things 10 times better than me. There's certain things that I can apply better than him, but together we're probably a lot stronger. The idea is that you find those little tidbits, those little things of identifying that you maybe had more risk tolerance to the market than you thought you did, right? And really putting those things to work, guys. How are you going to know if those things work unless you try? You got to try. Otherwise, you're going to spend your whole life being too careful. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people can make. I really do. I heard Matt Money was short PL Plantier since IPO. Yeah, right. He's done quite well with that position. Kudos to you for picking that up, Matt. I knew that was a winner for you. Absolutely. So fantastic job on that. We eatin', fam. We eatin'. Let's continue making that paper. Fantastic. Well, yeah, it's been quite a swing in the portfolio, no doubt. You know, I've strategically been just kind of working and picking my spots, you know, floating down to that 25 cash model. So the real takeaway for you guys that heard what I just said, hey, Ryan's being a little bit more cautious on his float spectrum. Maybe that's now an opportunity. If you're just starting out in the market, you're between 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Okay, the 10,000, I would say, look, if you can engage in the market, because there's never a better time to invest than yesterday, great, do it. But don't panic yourself off of this market if it does, in fact, start to retreat on us a little bit. But I'm more talking to those people out there that maybe have a $25,000, a $50,000 bill, maybe even a six-figure bill that they're looking to deploy in the stock market. I think investing with some scale right here is prudent. In other words, a $100,000 bill, take 20,000 or you know, 1/5 or 1/4 of that money, 25,000. Go ahead and expose that to the market and keep the rest dry powder. That's kind of the idea that I'm going with now, and I'm just going based on what the market's telling me right now. It's not rocket science. Market's at an all-time high right now. It's flirting with 30,000. Do I want it to continue to run? Yes, and my portfolio is positioned to profit from that continued upswing in the market, right? He says Plantier is like gold. Yeah, it is, man. It was a good pick for you, my brother. Fantastic. For entertainment purposes only, right? So yeah, that's kind of funny because I say that tongue in cheek. I think people are way too careful about this. It's like I can't recommend that you go run on the road for fear that you're going to get hit by a car. I can't recommend that you go to the gym for fear that you're going to drop 45-pound weights on your jaw or your head or worse, whatever. Look, guys, this is life. And we're all going to live and we're all going to die. Why don't you sit back for a second and just enjoy, right, how to do something a little bit better. And I, for the life of me, can't understand why the money topic is so faux pas. I really don't. People sometimes look at me and they're just like, wow, this guy's really serious about money. I don't know, man. That's just my natural passion. I have a natural affinity to money. And, not especially the money or the paper or the rudimentary, you know, aspect of currency, but more the plan in taking a little bit of money and turning it into a lot of money, which, if nothing else, over the course of my life, I've proven that I'm pretty freaking good at it. All right. Very cool. Always for entertainment purposes only. We need to disclose that as well. But that's the very industry that I despise. So I go after them anyway. I don't think it should be a big secret. I really don't. I don't think Vanguard should be a secret. I don't think the fact that 3M exists should be a big secret. I don't think that it should be a huge secret that you can, in fact, seek out a position in a company producing a product like Coca-Cola that, yes, Warren Buffett is bullish on. I don't think that should be a secret. That's just me. That's just me. And I know there's a lot of people out there that agree with me. So, let's exploit it and stop apologizing, okay? Because the second we start to accept the fact that we are lower middle class, some of us fairly respectable middle class income earners, the further distance the income gaps are going to get, and the further distance the wealth gaps are going to get. Better get on board, otherwise you're going to get left behind. Okay, we don't invest because we think it's cute. We invest because we have to. We have to. There's no choice in this matter. If you're choosing not to invest, you, in my opinion, are taking on more risk by not investing than us investors who are trying to put together some scratch and build some wealth for our financial future. Let that sink in for a little bit. All right. Very cool. He sold all of his stock to trade options. Matt's one of those guys that doesn't mind layering up a program, and that's the cool thing about it for sure. My understanding is both Dave and Matt like the covered call type of opportunity and the cash secured puts. I think it's a great way of playing, and it's a great way to generate some income. And I've seen no indication that by him being a trailblazer and trying to seek out that opportunity for himself, hell, I'll be the last one to say you shouldn't do that, Matt. No way. I'm not his dad. I'm his freaking friend through YouTube. I'll be like, damn, good job, man. Good job. Instead of this whole like crossfire, oh my goodness, you do this and I'm a better investor than you and I'm a better YouTube channel than yours, or I'm this or I'm that and I'm this and you should watch me because of that. How about we just acknowledge good moves and good wealth building strategies? Because again, I want to accept those things as commonplace. I really do. And if Matt's having some success in calls and options and put strategies, etc., the idea is how can we take that and maybe potentially scale that? And that's really where our private groups come in, and we share those strategies. So if you want to learn, be my guest. We provide those opportunities. And, for those folks that have already sought those opportunities, they're making it happen. Come January, my pricing is going to go back up to normal, and I'll lock my group down next year, because I'm happy with the folks I've got in there. I'm happy. You give me 20, 25 people that are looking to change their lives, I'm all about that. You bet. I don't care. If it just so happens to be 1,200 people, great. We'll take them too. We'll change their lives, because that's exactly what we're looking to do. All right. Got Christian in the house, man. Very good. It's been very good this month. November has been on fire. It really, really has. I don't know if that's Pinterest as far as like an investment. I'm not sure. The online space, honestly, I'm in Amazon right now, and I have not looked at the fundamentals of Shopify. I have not looked at those opportunities of Pinterest. There is a ton of opportunity right now in the market, but here's the thing. The Pinterest would be one of those stocks that maybe I would put on the list outside of 100 other options if you're a beginning investor. But I don't have a comment as far as an investment for a speculative play in any portfolio at this particular juncture. I've never owned the stock, but appreciate you offering it, or put options to make under 15. Yeah. Very cool. I heard Gen X sold his $1.7 million portfolio this week and decided to go with YOLO on Bitcoin. I would say that's probably not true. He's in a position where he can lean on a good, solid value portfolio. And I'm in kind of a wealth building mode, and that's my thing. Once I get up to 1.5, 1.6, which is my mark, which I will, I'm a doubling cycle away, and I'm there. 7 years, 49, I'm a millionaire. It's not magic, it's math. Don't make this thing more complicated than it needs to freaking be. And if I just blew your socks away and blew you off the couch with what I just said, as confidently as I did, without any arrogance or any type of fluff or any type of sugarcoating, I can say it again if you'd like, but you heard me the first time. All right? Cool stuff, man. 95% of people should just do passive investing. You're probably right. I think Matt mentioned the 8 out of 10 of the 80% people. The idea is that we're striking a chord with, traditional investing. And I say that, I'm not saying that people can't engage in more of an active profile and win at it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that most people could probably do themselves a favor by understanding the fluctuation and volatility of the market by entering into a passive program, for sure. So I appreciate that, Trading Zone. It's smart. It's a smart comment. And unfortunately, it's not a sexy comment, because if you just based your YouTube channel around passive investing, like I have to an extent, you'll get the anemic growth. You can have a YouTube channel with 500 videos on it and have a few subscribers to your message, but that's totally fine. That's not why I do it. I don't do that. I do it to remain steadfast with a message that applies to the success of the masses. Honestly, that's what we're looking to gain. Okay. Very cool. All right. Let me scroll through here, guys. Man, there's just a ton of comments, man. I got 10 minutes. So I'm really going to scroll through here. Very cool. Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering about that. I was wondering why it was VT. I had the ticker thrown up here and it only awarded me 12 shares, but I need to look into it because I usually buy more because they usually spin those off and it usually provides a pretty good growth opportunity. But I didn't know that was happening. And I saw that it was I'll find it here. Stand by just a sec. I believe it was in my account. Here it is. J McDonald's. Nope, it wasn't in that one. I think it was in, yeah, it's VTRS. See, I'm pretty sure that's the one Eric's talking about there. And I was surprised to see that. It's always a pleasant surprise when you get free stock in your account as a spinoff. But I'm not sure that's what you're talking about, but I think that it is. You know, we'll see. I've only got a couple $100 in it anyway, and I'll probably embolden that after I do a little bit of diligence on it because I don't know what specifically that was. I was not expecting that, but hey, nice. I'll take free stock anytime. Very cool. Electric vehicles will need nickel for batteries. And that's true. It's a good play, honestly, to go after that. You know, those metallics that'll be needed in the batteries. I like that idea. So that's really good. Appreciate that. There's Matt. Matty's giving proper kudos to Kyle. It's awesome. Those guys are like brothers. They're like brothers, man. Very cool. I'll remind everybody to stick around, man, here in less than about 9 minutes. Matt, if you want to go ahead and you can drop a link into the bottom of the thread on the Independent Investor live stream, man, you're welcome to do so. If there was anything I could do to support those guys, I absolutely would. And they know that, and that's the way that it's going to be as we look to roll out success with this community. Okay, it means a whole hell of a lot more to me. I've been successful for 20 years, guys. And that whole talk about one more doubling cycle and becoming a millionaire, et cetera, I've always known that I was going to get there. It's not a surprise to me. Okay. But if we can bring a few people with us or a lot of people with the power of social media and start to really engage in a dialogue that is striking a nerve with people and making people think with a successful mindset, then that's what we're aiming to do. Absolutely. Take a chip off the old block. All right. It works. Trust me. Because I'll be there. I give you a dang guarantee on that for sure. I've worked way too hard. I treat them so silver. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just one of those that I just have not been able to bring myself to buy. I wish I could start a second precious metals Roth IRA account, but they're just too stinking expensive. So I've opted not to do that. And the primary way that I would love to own precious metals would be in its physical sense, but that carries with it some responsibility as well. All right. I bought it at cost. There's MindMed again at 48. That's a good entry. Like I said, the stock I thought today at the end I was going to go parabolic, and I was kind of watching it for Matt and Kyle because it was kind of acting like it was going to go parabolic. But I think it's been interesting. It's really traded quite controlled. And that's actually a very bullish sign for a stock that's just now broke the dollar mark. And it broke $1 US. I know Kyle covers it in CAD, but it's at $1.25, I believe, right now. And I did not watch the after action on it. I was watching some other names this afternoon, but nonetheless, it was a successful speculation for sure. Oh God, Matt's not getting a GTR. Could be possible once I get my moving expenses. All right, I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in, Matt. Don't buy the GTR. All right. We'll talk offline. Good grief. Very cool. This 8K around the same. Yeah, 282. Thank you. My correction. I said 125, 282. You bet. That's some serious profit, mine. Chalk it up. I will not apologize for success in this community. Absolutely not. And I don't define success as being, hey, I tell you, you invest in General Electric and therefore you succeed. No, no. You generate those successes on your own and then come on and share them with the group. We'll tell you, great job. What does it feel to hit six figures for the first time? I don't know if that question is for me. I was talking to Kyle about it, and we were actually talking about, I hit the six-figure mark a long time ago. I hit the $250,000 mark quite a while ago, but inside of 2 years ago. And here I'm staring down $500,000, and I, for the life of me, I just cannot understand how I've got there. I don't know. I'm humbled. I'm very thankful. A lot of my success in investing as well. I'm a better investor now than I was 3.5 years ago, and a lot of it has a lot to do with this opportunity. If you can just revolve around this topic a little bit, it'll make you smarter. It'll make you that much more aware. It really will, and that's the magic of this, man. That's why I'm so hell bent on this opportunity, because I do, in the bottom of my heart, believe we are helping people. I do. And for some of the little bit of guff I get through the channel, man, it's well worth it for those people that I know are out there that may not very often, if ever, say, hey, I'm one of those folks that feel empowered. Ryan, thank you. Keep up the message, because that really is the fuel that fuels my fire. No doubt. You got credit for this one for sure. Absolutely, he did, man. It was a good one. It was a good one. It was a winner. It was a winner. Feels like nothing. 50K was my biggest milestone. Didn't even notice 6. That's true. And I know Kyle's not, he thinks a lot like me. It's nice to talk to him, because it's nice to talk to people in general who expect success. Let that sink in. When was the last time you made action in your life, actionable things that look to advance yourself toward a successful type of opportunity? And it doesn't necessarily have to be with money. It just so happens to be that this is an investing channel, right? Certain other things that you can improve upon, get yourself out of debt, et cetera, et cetera. But when was the last time you truly identified a goal for yourself and made it happen? Man, I've got goals upstairs that have been up here for my entire life. And it's just how we're wired. That's the way it is. And, we spend a lot of sleepless nights up working these projects to deliver this content to you guys for sure. And we do it because we love it. And we do it because we think we're making a difference for sure, man. Very cool. For me, it was a notch in my cap on my way to 7. That's a cool way of saying it. And again, with my lens, a lot of people would look at that and be like, who's this freaking guy? Well, what that statement tells me is that this guy, quite simply, expects success, expects to be there. And that right there will be it. It's going to be what's between your ears. That's what's going to get it. And I would expect nothing less than from Matt. Nothing less. No way. If he came on and he was like, it was the greatest accomplishment of my life, I'd be like, who the freak is this guy? Freak. Get to that 7 and then go for 8. Why not? What's to say that you're not going to dabble once you have that freedom in the portfolio to start to dabble with some things that can really return some capital, real estate investment, development. Yeah, this is just the start, guys. Come on, let's get with the program. We're looking to build something a hell of a lot bigger here than YouTube projects, okay, with 10,000 subscribers. We're looking at a much grander picture, much grander. This is an opportunity to bring together like-minded people to do some pretty special things, all right? And then beyond that, once money isn't an issue, then we start to build things out for people that don't have that opportunity that we've been provided in this life, right? People that don't have food, that don't have power, that don't have infrastructure, that don't have opportunity, right? Okay. So there's always a bigger picture. And I know that's what Matt's striving for. I really do, because I just think, I've never looked at any of these channel creators and said, wow, this is great. I respect this individual because of the numbers in a portfolio. No way. No freaking way. No way. I respect these people just for who they are. That's it, man. Real sees real. Real recognizes real. I was told that last Friday on a live stream, and it stuck to me. It was actually after the fact. I had a couple guests pop in, which I'm going to provide that opportunity as well. I got about halfway through the questions. I do apologize for some of these folks that I see here in the thread. You guys need to pop on and leave these questions, man. I'm telling you, this thing usually gets fired up like a diesel engine. And in respect of Matt and Kyle's time, which I really want to yield to those folks and give those guys the floor, I will catch you guys in that stream as well. But I will drop the invite in here. This will be the last one. And then we're going to close out the live stream, guys. I will plan on coming back next Friday as well. So if you enjoyed the message that we've got coming around this awareness piece to wealth building and self-improvement, self-empowerment, and investing like a boss, you are in fact your boss, okay? If you've ever thought about owning your own business, but you never will, investing is your out. It is. Investing is your opportunity, all right? And like they say on Wall Street, this is your wake-up call. This is your wake-up call. Get to work, okay? Be your own boss. All right, guys? So stay put. I hope Matt dropped his link in the group. We'll be back next week, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Independent Investor live stream. Guys, be well. Enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you next Friday. Cheers.